Om Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. See, the word karma means action. Action means what? Whatever you do is action. Any small movement is action. So from morning, from the time you wake up from sleep until you fall asleep, the whole day, between sleep, waking up and falling asleep, whatever you do is an action. Everything is action. And an action definitely produces result. Every action we do produces result. Why does it produce? That is the law. It is the law. And we call it the law of action. The law is that any action done, performed, knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, unintentionally, however action is done, still action does produce the result. This is law of karma. So, from morning, from the time you wake up from sleep until you fall asleep, whatever is done by every individual is an action. So, those actions can be intentional or unintentional. They may have some motive behind or may not have motive behind. Or knowingly they may be done, unknowingly they will be done. So, all those actions do produce result. So here we say these actions done can be converted into a discipline. An action done, any action you do can be converted into a discipline. When an action is converted into a discipline, we call it a yoga. Karma, an action converted into a discipline is known as yoga, karma yoga. You can ask the question, how can our actions be converted into discipline? Disciplines or discipline. The action performed with a proper attitude and performing the action with the proper attitude, certain attitude of receiving the result of action. An action performed consciously The action performed in conformity with the universal values is converted into a discipline. We'll see what those attitudes are. So converting an action into a discipline, a yoga, means what? See, our mind, human mind, is naturally impure mind. Having impure mind is not wrong. It is not sin. It is not a crime to have an impure mind. Having an impure mind is sick mind. So being sick, mentally sick, being mentally impure is not wrong. It's very natural. It's not a crime. Somebody is physically ill, physically sick, that person is not a wrong person. It's not a crime. Understand? You don't need to feel bad about somebody being sick, somebody having headache or migraine or cold and cough or a fever or back pain or some other pain. Somebody is physically sick means we do not see that person as though he's done a great crime, or you don't see that person as a wrong person or a bad person. Look at the sick person, sick person. Look at the healthy person, healthy person. When you see the healthy person, we feel happy. When you see the sick person, if possible, try to help. Okay, you have the physical headache, have this medicine. You have this cold and cough, have this medicine. Just out of concern, out of compassion, you suggest some medication, relevant medication for relevant illness, and you just ignore it. You don't react to a person who is physically sick, because we accept the fact that it is very natural for any human being to fall sick at any time. Isn't it true? We accept. Oh, yesterday I was very healthy, today suddenly I'm coughing. Very natural. I was coughing yesterday, today I'm better. Oh, I'm perfectly alright today. Very natural. Somebody can fall sick, somebody can get well. It's very natural. So when you see physical sickness of any human being, we do not get affected by it. Either we feel concern or we are neutral. It doesn't affect us. If we have concern, we also tell them, okay, have this medicine. We express our suggestions and views. If we do not know the person, we keep away. We keep quiet. We ignore it. We don't really get affected by the physical sickness. Isn't it? Similarly, our Shastram looks at the human mind in a different way. It says that every human mind is naturally sick. Whoever is born in this world as a human being, and every human being is endowed with the mind. It is this human mind which distinguishes the human being from other beings. Mind is the very precious, possession of a human being. But other animals don't have it. This mind is otherwise called Antahkaranam, internal instrument of knowledge. And this mind also, just as externally we have gross physical body, this mind also is looked upon in the Shastram as a subtle body. Just as gross body can fall sick, very natural for every subtle body, every mind to be sick also. In fact, once you are born a human being, you are endowed with this sick mind only. The mind is sick. But And then which human being is healthy minded? No human being. Okay? Every human being has one's own mental sickness. Like how every human being has one's own physical illness. I have back pain, she has hip pain, and somebody else has headache. On girl supposed to come, she has migraine. The sickness, physical illnesses vary from person to person. The mental illness also, in a way, there is variation, but still, all human beings, the entire humanity has sick mind. Degree of sickness. There is a certain degree of sickness on the part of every mind. On the part of every human mind, a certain degree of sickness. So, it is very natural to be mentally sick. So, we don't need to, it is not a great crime or wrong or bad to be sick, mentally sick. You don't need to feel bad about it. Not just only the person who was born in Greece, living in Germany is sick. No, whole world, the entire universe, wherever human beings are, they have their own certain degree of sickness. But in spite of the sickness, they've been living their lives. Getting up in the morning, they may pray, they may not pray, they may worship, they may not worship, they have shower, they may not have shower, they eat the breakfast, rush to work, do something or other, earn their livelihood, come back, have family, or no family, again live their lives, have watched television. All these things are happening in spite of that sickness. In fact, some people live without even knowing their sickness. But they suffer the sickness. Not knowing the reason for the suffering. Not knowing the sickness itself. So it is very natural. If you ask me, what do you mean by mental sickness? The mental sickness, to a certain degree, it makes a person abnormal. There's a limit is there, isn't it? So Shastram says, mental impurity. Mental impurity makes the mind sick mind. The mind is impure mind. The impure mind is a sick mind. The pure mind is the healthy mind. Therefore, there is no human being whose mind is absolutely pure. There is nobody absolutely healthy minded. So, we don't need to feel bad about it. So, impure mind is a sick mind. And then unsteady mind is the sick mind. The pure and steady mind is a healthy mind. The unsteady, impure mind is the sick mind. So we call it rogaha, disease. So what are the mental impurities? What are the mental impurities? All mental impurities are very natural. Likes and dislikes. Strong likes and dislikes. It is not wrong or crime to have likes and dislikes. So very natural for all human beings to have likes and dislikes. It is very natural for us to have disease. It is not wrong to have disease. It's very natural for us to have anger. What is anger in German language?
Ärger, Wut.
So anger is an emotion, a phenomenon, which is the symptom of a sickness. Like it's a sickness. Likes and dislikes are symptoms of sickness. Jealousy is a symptom of sickness. Hatred, my God. Once upon a time I liked that person so much. And another time I hate the person. I can't stand seeing the person. Hatred is a symptom of sickness. Hatred, fear, all-time fear, insecurity, symptom of disease, sickness, hatred, anger, fear, hurt. I feel hurt, pain, guilt. Hurt is pain, guilt is pain. It is it's a symptom of sickness. Now somebody has said this, somebody has said this, somebody has said this, somebody has said this. It's a pain. Oh my God, I didn't ask her to eat, I didn't tell her to do, I didn't tell her to do. The guilt. Isn't it? So hurt is a pain, guilt is a pain, which is also in a phenomenon in the mind, which is also a symptom of sickness. So pain in the form of hurt and guilt, likes and dislikes, strong disease, strong passion. Nothing wrong. Having is not wrong. I'm saying a symptom of sickness. Jealousy, hatred, anger, fear, anxiety. Always anxious. Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Anxiety. I'm not interested in anything. Not at all interested. Disinterested. Sickness. So are impurities. Greed. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. The greed. Always confused about everything. It's very natural to be confused, but everything is a confusion. It's all different phenomena, all very subtle, in your thoughts, and are symptoms of mental sickness. So if these are all there, we call such a mind a sick mind. Tell me, which mind doesn't have all this? So no human being is superior, okay? With reference to this particular problem, a mental sickness, the proportion may vary from person to person. The degree may vary from person to person, degree of sickness. But everybody is equally sick. Every human being has kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. But degree may vary from person to person. It's very natural. All these are natural. Nobody can say, I don't have any problem. I'm okay. People want to hide it. Again, another is vanity. No, very natural for everybody. Shastra says, don't need to say I don't have. You're a human being, come on, you are sick. No, I'm okay. No, this is natural. Okay? These are the impurities. That every mind is impure mind. Okay, every mind consists of these natural phenomena of thoughts, emotions. Even the degree varies from person to person, every mind is sick mind, the impure mind. The one problem of the mind. Another type of sickness is the mind is all naturally always of the always it is the state of flux. Always mind is agitated, disturbed, burdened, distracted. Sometimes somebody is talking to you, you cannot even listen for a few minutes. Get restless. When you're eating, you ask for bread, you're eating. As you're eating, mind goes somewhere else. Mind cannot be in one thing. The attention cannot be placed in one thing for a length of time. Mind always goes here and there. Look, completely, it is very natural for the mind to be distracted, disturbed, scattered, agitated. That's why in kindergarten classes, you would have noticed, the minds of children are highly disturbed. They're so highly disturbed, they cannot focus on any one thing for a length of time. That is why in the whole room they had to keep colorful bulbs, colorful balls. You had to keep them occupied. You give them one toy, the toy can hold their attention only for a very short time. They get tired. They immediately go for something else. That's why one toy is not enough. You put one toy, they'll be bored. They'll play with one toy for a few minutes, they go something else. They go something else. Go something else. Understand why every kindergarten classes with so many toys, so many colored beads, and so many things to do, so many crayons to give, because very, very difficult to hold the attention of a child. It is so restless. It's very natural for any child to be distracted. Because child is relatively mentally, no impurity in the child's mind, but unsteady minded, very restless, agitated. But child's mind is pure mind. There's no jealousy, no hatred, because child is still young. But unsteady. Where we grown up people have both problems. Our minds are unsteady, restless, agitated, disturbed, distracted. We cannot focus on anything for a length of time. You are sitting here, suddenly mind goes somewhere else. You know very well. We try to bring it back, that's a different thing. But mind goes. This is another problem. Okay? Being restless, agitated and distracted, not being able to focus on any given thing for length of time, attention does not stay in one place. Attention does move away here and there. That is called mental unsteadiness. Okay? Mental, always chanchalam manaha means unsteady, restless mind, agitated mind. So agitation is one problem, impurity is another problem. These two are the symptoms of mental sickness. Sick mind. So there's definitely, in this sick mind, there is definitely pain, agony, suffering, emotional pain. So where there is impurities, where there are impurities, and where there is unsteadiness, naturally there is mental agony, pain, suffering. There is sorrow. Sorrow means sickness is. A sick mind is a sorrowful mind, is a sick mind. Happy mind is a peaceful mind, is a pure healthy mind. Is it clear? So here, so we don't need to worry about the mental sickness, mental impurities, or mental unsteadiness. Very natural. Suppose how to convert this sick mind into a relatively healthy mind. Sick mind means painful mind, sorrowful mind. Healthy mind means sorrowless mind, peaceful mind, happy mind, tranquil mind. Okay. So how to convert this unhappy, unsteady, impure mind into a healthy, pure, steady mind? How to convert? Shastram, our scripture, Shastra means our scripture says, everyone can get rid of this mental sickness. One can overcome this mental sickness. One can become absolutely mentally healthy, healthiest person. Happiest person is the healthiest person. Most peaceful person is the healthiest person. It is possible. The worst sick person also can become the best, healthiest person. How? Shastram says, these are the symptoms of sickness means, what actually is the disease? What is the disease because of which these symptoms are? You want to have the mind, convert a sick mind into a healthy mind, the unsteady mind into healthy mind, to convert the impure and unsteady mind to a pure and steady mind. You want to convert the restless mind to a peaceful, tranquil mind. You want to convert the unhappy, sorrowful mind to a happy mind. Sick mind to healthy mind. What should you do? You have to resolve all the symptoms. The symptoms should go, isn't it? All these are symptoms of disease. Likes and dislikes, desires, anger, jealousy, hatred, likes and hurt and guilt, sorrow, pain, are the symptoms of disease. If all these symptoms of disease resolve for good, then there is a healthy, happy, pure and steady mind. Tranquil, peaceful, serene mind. But how can we get rid of the symptoms of sickness if we do not diagnose the sickness? Shastra, we do not know. We only have symptoms. We only suffer the symptoms. We go through the effect of symptoms, not knowing these are all symptoms of sickness. We do not know. We suffer the symptoms. So when you have headache, you only suffer the headache, which is a symptom of the disease, and you don't know what to do with it. Then you go to doctor. The doctor diagnoses, and he finds out why there is headache, and he'll find out there's some problem with your tooth or some indigestion, some reason. After diagnosing, he finds out the cause of the headache. Headache is a symptom of actual disorder in the body. Then the doctor gives you, he doesn't give medicine for the headache. He gives you medicine for correcting the disorder which caused the headache. He gives you medicine for the disease. When you take the medicine, the disease is removed, then the disorder is removed, then the symptom goes. You are free. Is it clear? Making it clear?
Yes.
Similarly here, when we suffer these problems of jealousy, hatred, anger, restlessness, agitation, our Shastram also, like the doctor, Guru is like the doctor, Bishak. Bishak means not bishop, okay? Bishak. Doctor, Vaidya. And they tells all the symptoms of one disease of ignorance. So if the symptoms have to go, disease itself has to go. We never blame the symptoms, okay? So ignorance is the disease. There is, every mind is naturally ignorant mind. So being ignorant again is not wrong, very natural. All of us are born ignorant. Ignorance of what? We are all ignorant of our own real nature. We are ignorant of the reality. And we are ignorant of our ignorance also. Not only we are ignorant of the reality, we are ignorant of ignorance also. Okay? So we are so innocent, naive people. So we do not know that we were ignorant. We had a disease. Like how just the doctor died. We do not even know what the problem is. Why a headache. But the cause of headache I do not know. The doctor diagnoses and finds out. Like that, our Shastra, the scripture, has diagnosed the problem thoroughly. It says any symptom you have, no mental sickness, is purely because of the disease of ignorance. Ignorance of the truth. Ignorance of your own real nature. You know you are, but do not know what you are. Therefore, there's partial knowledge, but there's also partial ignorance. And you do not know that you are ignorant of your nature. And this ignorance is the root cause of the disease. The ignorance is resolved. I explained the basic classes. Resolved, then all these symptoms will disappear for good. My God. That's why we always tell you cannot give up, push away your anger. Suppose all of us can push our anger away, or throw this, like this, I can throw my anger like this. My God. I try to get rid of the anger, doesn't leave me, get hold of me, it's tightly holding on to us. Tightly, anger is holding on to us. We are not holding on to anything. Isn't it? So anger, hatred, jealousy, fear, anxiety are holding on to us. Therefore, Shastram says, come on, this is the secret. Don't worry, there are only symptoms, post symptoms, which you don't want. You suffer the symptoms. Whatever you do, you stand by upside down, do Shirasasanam also. These will not go away. Go to gym, do exercise, eat well, morning breakfast, afternoon lunch, evening dinner, jog and then exercise and then do and physically fit and then have good friends, good wife and good husband and good family and no debts and no money, lot of money, good job. Everything you have, still symptoms will be there. Okay, externally, whatever you have, whatever you don't have, they do not change your mental sickness. Maybe they can make you forget your mental sickness for some time. Suppose you have proper good wife, good husband, good family, good money, good relationships, everything is there. Then they may help you forget your mental sickness, but they cannot remove your mental sickness. For some time they may forget, but there's a time again they'll remind you also. Understand? Therefore, what you possess outside, what you're blessed with outside, okay, comfortable life, etc., they cannot touch your mind. They cannot do anything with the mental sickness. So unhappiness, sorrowfulness, the pain, agony is something which is unavoidable irrespective of what you have outside, what you do not have outside. Whether you have everything, still there will be pain. you don't have anything, still there will be pain. But we think what I don't have outside is the cause of the pain and suffering. That's not true. Shastram says differently. Shastram says, come on, whether what you have outside, what you do not have outside, okay, nothing to do with your mental condition. This sickness, the symptom of sickness we do suffer, is purely because of the disease. So you don't need to, whatever you do, you cannot eradicate the symptoms for good. You can, whatever you do can help you forget your symptoms for some time. Again they'll come remind you, they come and remind you. If you want to avoid the suffering of symptoms, the best thing is you have to remove the disease, not the symptoms. Understand? So, which means avoiding this, removing the disease, symptoms will disappear by itself. You don't need to push away these symptoms. But you can only work for getting your disease removed. How can disease be removed? Ignorance is the cause of the symptoms. Ignorance of the truth is the disease means. Knowledge of the truth is the only solution. So knowing your real nature, knowing the truth, reality, knowledge of the truth is the medicine. Jnanameva bheshajam. Knowledge is bheshajam, medicine, which can remove the illness of ignorance. Or the illness goes, the disease goes, the symptoms caused by disease also will disappear. Then you don't need to push yourself, oh come on, anger you go, come on you go, hatred you go. Don't, all of them simultaneously together will disappear if the disease itself is removed. Understand? Therefore, the mental impurities are very natural symptoms of the disease of ignorance, and for which the only medication is knowledge. Therefore, the teacher who imparts this knowledge is looked upon as doctor. Teacher is the doctor, Vaidyanatha Swami, Dhanvantari. Bhagavan is looked upon as the teacher, and who can give you, who alone can, the teacher alone can give you the medicine of knowledge to remove the disease of ignorance, thereby to help you free yourself from the hold of symptoms of disease. Understand? Therefore, when you study the scripture, you discover the truth of what you are essentially, what the universe is, then in the light of the urge of yourself, the truth of the world, your perspective changes. You see the world differently, you see yourself differently, and in the perspective change, all the, there are all emotions about the self and the world resolve. Therefore, all these, the problems resolve, even these sicknesses all resolve. Is it clear? Therefore, then you are absolutely pure-minded, healthy-minded. Understand? Absolutely healthy person. But then you are happiest person. Because happiness is not a state of mind, it's your real nature. Absolutely pure-minded. Therefore, the one who has knowledge of the truth, knowledge of the self, is said to be the wise person. Wise person is the one who is absolutely pure-minded, healthy-minded, healthiest person. Purest-minded, healthiest person is the happiest person, the most peaceful person. Understand? But for a person to discover this truth, to understand, know the truth, thereby by having this medicine of knowledge, having to remove the disease of ignorance, and thereby to free oneself from the hold of the symptoms of this disease, isn't it? What I should do? can I get the medicine of knowledge? Through the teaching of the scriptures from a competent teacher. How can I get this knowledge? How can I get rid of this disease of ignorance and free myself from the hold of the symptoms of disease in the form of impurities? How can I be most peaceful and the healthiest, happiest person? This Shastra says, okay, you study the Vedanta Shastra and Vedanta Upanishads, and it's a means of knowledge of the truth. Once you study, you will understand how the truth is, what is the nature of the truth. It will help you. You can assimilate. Understand? The next question comes, okay, Vedanta Shastra is there as a means of knowledge of the truth. I can study with the help of the teacher. I can understand. I can get rid of the disease of ignorance. And ignorance caused symptoms. But the problem is, even if you study Vedanta Shastra, even if you want the knowledge, still it is not easy for the study to become effective, for knowledge to take place. Why? Because a mind which is totally impure, the totally impure mind, totally restless, highly restless, agitated, disturbed, distracted, the impure mind, confused mind, ignorant mind, suddenly, directly cannot leap and become a totally pure mind. The impure mind has to become relatively pure mind. Then from being relatively pure, it has to become absolutely pure. Is it clear? Therefore, the mind has to become relatively pure in order to become eligible for attaining the knowledge, okay, the medicine of knowledge, to remove the disease of ignorance, thereby to get rid of the problems of symptoms of disease in terms of impurities. Am I very fast? It's okay?
Yes.
Am I okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm speaking, I'm very sleepy, but still I can talk to you. So now, the mind has to become relatively pure. It is impure mind has to become little pure, relatively pure, to become absolutely pure. Absolute purity is possible only in the form of, only in terms, in the wake of the knowledge of the truth. But to become, for us to have the knowledge, to have the clear vision of the truth, you know, again you must be relatively pure. So, converting the impure mind and unsteady mind into a relatively pure and steady mind is said to be disciplining the mind. Okay? What is disciplining the mind? The impure mind, unsteady mind is said to be the indisciplined mind. By birth, all of us are the most indisciplined. From when we are children, we are very, very indisciplined minded. Indisciplined means what now? It's pure, as a children we are pure minded, but still very unsteady, very restless minded. As we grow slightly older and older, we become more and more and more. We are pure minded, slowly our mind gets polluted. As children, we were only unsteady minded, but as we grow, we are not only unsteady, we continue to be unsteady, we also become impure minded. Understand? So, how this is called the indisciplined mind. The impure, unsteady mind is said to be the indisciplined, raw, gross, insensitive mind. Raw mind, uncultured mind, uncivilized mind. Understand? Gross mind. So, if anything you do to convert, anything we do to convert our unsteady, impure, indisciplined mind into a disciplined mind, a relatively pure and steady mind, is said to be a discipline. Whatever is done for disciplining the indisciplined mind is said to be a discipline. Okay?
Yes.
Therefore, our education is going to school is a discipline, going to university is a discipline, studying anything is a discipline, carpentry is a discipline, music is a discipline, learning to play drums or guitar or violin or veena, being given to the study of any musical instrument, any artwork, painting or dancing or singing or cooking, cleaning the house, everything, anything you do contributes for certain degree of disciplining the mind. Certain degree of disciplining happens if you are given to the study of anything. That's why any learning of anything which contributes for a certain degree of discipline of the mind is also said to be a discipline. Understand? Physics is a discipline, chemistry is a discipline, a dance is a discipline, music is a discipline, singing is a discipline. Anything is called a discipline. Why? Because anything which contributes for the disciplining, certain degree of discipline comes, not 100%. Total, the mind becomes absolutely disciplined, pure and steady only in the wake of the knowledge of the truth as one's own self. Until then, whatever you do, all this, anything you focus and study, okay, for some time I study carpentry, I do some work, I like it, the music I sing, anything you do becomes, it is called, known as discipline, because anything you learn with the focus, attention for some time contributes for the disciplining your mind. So certain degree of discipline happens. Now, here the Shastram teaches how to convert anything and everything you do from morning till evening, from the time you wake up until you fall asleep, whatever you do, for whether you cook for yourself, whether you run for your physical health, or whether you work for earning money, or the work you do, or do you do your duties, whatever you do from morning until you fall asleep, convert even your yawning, sneezing, every small action you can convert into a discipline. Disciplines which contributes for disciplining the mind. Okay? So disciplining the mind means preparing the mind, converting the impure mind into a relatively pure and steady mind, a qualified mind for knowledge. Understand? So here, karma yoga means our scripture teaches, come on, why only certain things what you do? Every small thing you do until you fall asleep. Whatever you do, every small thing you do can be converted into a discipline. When it's converted into a discipline, it is called yoga. Karma means action. Any action you do which is converted into a discipline, converted into a preparatory discipline, then then it is called Karma Yoga. But of course, whether it's discipline or not, we all do. Everybody, ignorant or wise person, everybody is doing actions. Because we are hungry, we have to eat our food. We are thirsty, we have to drink our water. We have to go toilet. So all the people are like animals are doing. Animals eat, animals drink, animals reproduce, animals breathe, animals live their lives. So human beings also, our biological, natural needs drive us to do something or the other. Even laziest person has to open his mouth at least for the public to put the food into the mouth. Isn't it? But, so actions are inevitable for everybody. Everybody is doing an action. But an intelligent person who wants to solve the problem of going through the suffering of symptoms of the disease of ignorance, in him of mental impurities and mental stiffness, unsteadiness, will try to convert all his actions into preparatory discipline. It's called Karma Yoga. Now the question comes, how can it convert? So first thing, Shastram says, the person who makes genuine, sincere efforts to convert his actions into a preparatory discipline yoga is called Karma Yogi. So who can become a Karma Yogi? Who can convert his actions into discipline, preparatory discipline? Who can live a life of Karma Yoga? First thing Shastram says, one must be clear about one's purpose of living this life. I was born a human being in Germany or Greece or India or any part of the world. Whoever is born, definitely we must have both mother and father. We all must have had mother and father. This parentage, I did not choose who should be my mother, who should be my father. It was not our choice, isn't it? We didn't choose our parents. We were just born, not knowing the reason. Which means there's something which determines our parentage. And the place of birth, you did not choose to be born only in Frankfurt. Why you were born in Greece? Ordained again. Why you were born in Tamil Nadu somewhere in a village? The place of birth, time of birth. With Sicilian babies, sometimes they decide something happens. Place of birth, time of birth, parents of birth, all determined, predetermined. Nothing is in our hands. But we are born, somehow, we've grown and we are here. So Shastram says, as a human being, it's very important to know the fact, first of all, how as a human being you are the most sophisticated being. You're the most sophisticated, the most exalted of all the beings, because you have a willpower. You have choice over action. You can choose to do a given action. You can choose to refrain from a given action. You had a choice. You chose to come here. Anupama didn't choose to come here. Her choice was something different. You have choice over action. Second thing, you know that you are. Only human being is the only person who is self-conscious being. So you must, as a human being, you must be aware of the fact that you are exalted. You are most sophisticated among all the beings, and therefore you alone are blessed with this knowledge of self-existence. You know your own existence. And you are also blessed with something called willpower, the capacity to choose to give an action. also blessed with the knowledge of right and wrong. You know what you expect from others in terms of behavior, how others should behave with you. Others tell you a truth, others should speak the truth to you, or should others hurt you, or they should not hurt you. Others should steal your property or should not steal. So you know what you expect from others, how others should behave with you. Definitely you know. So we are all together here. We all respect each other. We all enjoy happily, eat together, drink together, because we all respect each other. All of us respect each other. All of us mean well for each other. And all of us are conscious of not hurting each other. Unknowingly we may do. No, consciously no, none of us want to hurt each other. So we are all careful. So we are together. Because it's very natural. Every human being is aware of right and wrong. Because I know what I expect from others, so based on my knowledge of what I expect from others, in terms of behavior, I'm 100% sure what is right and what is wrong. I know speaking the truth is right, telling lies is not right. So stealing is wrong, not stealing is right. Even truth also, all the truths you need not speak. You need to speak only what relevant. Not all the truths always is dangerous. So we know what is right and what is wrong. These three important things which distinguish a human being from other beings. Self-consciousness, willpower, and the urge of right and wrong. This is how a human being is different from other beings. So first of all, a person who is a karma yogi must be aware of this fact, how a human being is superior to other beings. Second thing, as a human being, one must analyze all that one wants in life. Even if you do not analyze, our scriptures have already thoroughly analyzed, made a thorough analysis. All that a human being wants, can be categorized into four as security, pleasure, doing right action, earning punyam, and being free from unhappiness. There's no fifth goal, know that, for a human being. We call it Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. So I want money, I want wealth, I want house, I want to have, very natural. They're all security, because you want to be secure. So you want to enjoy some pleasures, you want to live in dharma, you want to earn punyam, you want good results of actions. And in fact, why do you want to have money, wealth, family, job, isn't it? Why do you enjoy pleasures? Why do you want the good results of actions? Ultimately, what you want is happiness and peace of mind, which is otherwise said to be moksha. Therefore, the Shastra has thoroughly analyzed, I'm not elaborating on this, thoroughly analyzed. And now, by understanding the Shastra's analysis of the goals, and you become 100% clear that ultimately, through security, through all worldly possessions, the enjoyment of pleasures, even by doing actions, by expecting a good results of actions, ultimately what I am really seeking is everlasting happiness and peace. Is it true or not? What do you want to have in life? Why do you want to have? Because you want to be peaceful and happy. Ultimately what you want is you want to be peaceful and happy. Isn't it true or not? True.
Yes.
Therefore, so if analysis is done with the help of the Shastra, or if you analyze again what Shastra has already analyzed, you become convinced 100%, yes, as a human being, what I am seeking ultimately in my life is everlasting peace and happiness. It's called being 100% convinced of the fact that you are living this life ultimately to discover the peace and the happiness. Okay? So so Shastram says only such a person can become a karma yogi. So a person who knows the purpose of living this life is known as person of Purushartha Nischaya. Purushartha Nischaya means definiteness about the purpose of living this life, the ultimate purpose of living this life. Okay? So this person who wants to live a life of karma yoga must be a person of Purushartha Nischaya, a person who is definite about the purpose of living this life. The first one qualification. Second thing, if happiness is the ultimate choiceless end, if there's no choice, if you want to be happy or unhappy, yeah, I don't mind being unhappy, nobody will say that. Isn't it? There's no choice. Everybody wants to be happy only. Therefore, happiness is a choiceless goal. So that is very clear. And then how can I discover happiness? And happiness is not a state of mind. It can be attained by doing some karma. It is already there as nature of reality, as your own nature. The happiness you are searching for is actually your own nature. If you discover what you are, and you discover your real nature being happiness. Therefore, here, even though discovery of happiness is the ultimate end, otherwise called a freedom from limitations, actually speaking, discovery of your own self is that discovery of the truth of the universe, which is the means. Isn't it? So the person who lives life karma yoga, who is known as karma yogi, must be aware of this connection between the means and the end. The end being moksha, freedom or happiness, and the means to accomplish the end being knowledge. In fact, knowledge and moksha, knowledge and freedom, knowledge and happiness are identical. Am I very fast?
No.
Okay. I'm also not making it too elaborate, just to come to the point. Okay, the second thing. So there must be goal very clear, then knowledge being the means must be very clear, and if knowledge is the means, you must know definitely, to attain knowledge, I need a means of knowledge, and that is Upanishad. Vedanta Shastram is the means of knowledge of the truth. Therefore, there must be faith in the teaching of the Upanishads. Then, even if the means of knowledge is available, okay, through which I can discover the truth and discover happiness, I must become mentally ready for the understanding of the teaching and the assimilation of the teaching. However brilliant the child is, the child cannot learn physics equations at the age of 5. No, Einstein was my great-grandfather. Some child comes and tells. My father's grandfather was Einstein. I'm a granddaughter of Einstein. So what? How old are you? 5. Can you understand all physics equations? No. What I'm saying, one must be adequately mature to understand certain facts, isn't it? So here also, even though the person understands, has the Purushartha, the person is definite about the purpose of living his life, understand the value of the knowledge of the truth, because knowledge of the truth itself is discovery of happiness. He understands all that, okay, but still he is not, and for which means of knowledge is the scripture, Vedanta, Upanishads. Okay, the teacher's teaching, attend the Upanishad classes, You can understand the teaching. But still, the teaching has to become effective. To understand it, teaching correctly, to enjoy the benefit of the teaching, one must prepare one's mind. Certain preparedness is important. And preparing the mind to enjoy the benefit of the teaching, to be able to understand the teaching, isn't it? There's a certain way of life. And that way of life is otherwise said to be Karma Yoga. The way of life where one can, the way of life following which one can convert all one's actions into a preparatory discipline. Is it clear?
Yes.
So what is the way of life? So first I said, as a Karma Yogi, this all must be, that's why without the goal, what is the goal is not very clear. If this is not very clear, the knowledge, importance of knowledge is not understood, then one cannot become a Karma Yogi. Isn't it? Simply Karma Yogi means not somebody doing something does not make a Karma Yogi. The goal must be very clear. Means must be very clear. There must be commitment to the pursuit of the knowledge. And one must know that I must prepare my mind for the knowledge which I am committed to. Only then a person can become a Karma Yogi. Such a person, how he should live his life. So first of all, Shastram says, before doing any action, you must be alert. Alertness is important. Any action you do, one must be alert. Being alert means being aware. The action which I want to do, is it right or wrong? Do I have to go against universal values to do this action? Do I have to rub against the dharma? Or do I have to, is it right action? Or I'm doing in conformity with values? One must be very alert, conscious. And this alertness before doing a karma, having discretion that whether it is right or wrong, itself is called kaushalam, skill. Skill efficiency means being, according to Shastram, skill is not simply doing skillfully. Before doing the action, if you have discretion, is it right or wrong? Just for sake of fulfilling my desire, I want to do this action. Is it against values, or do I have to tell a lie? Do I have to cheat somebody? Do I have to go and hurt somebody? Isn't it? So before doing the action, be conscious of right or wrong. And if it is wrong, you refrain yourself from wrong. If it is right, you do it. It's called discretion in action, which is yoga, karma yoga. It's okay. Before doing itself, you think is right or wrong. If you think, if you are clear it is wrong, then you refrain yourself from doing it. If you understand it is right, then you do it. So a karma yogi is the one who has discretion in action, that before doing, he thinks well whether it is right or wrong. And he definitely, whatever is going to be the benefit gain, he is going to, still if it is wrong, he must have the strength to refrain from wrong action. And whether he likes it or not, something right, I don't like it so I don't want to do it. No. If something is right, even if he doesn't like to do it, but still he does it. So he does the right, avoids the wrong, which means he surrenders his will to dharma, order. Okay? First of all, a karma yogi is a person who lives consciously a life of values. consciously lives a life of values. Very conscious of not hurting, not stealing, not telling lies. One thing. Second thing, a karma yogi is the one, when he performs his actions, is completely free from anxiety. A person who is not a karma yogi will be very anxious. You know why he's very anxious? Because a person who is not a karma yogi is otherwise called karmi. He is very much attached to the action he is doing and the result of actions. Which means he is dependent on the performance of an action and the result of an action for his happiness and security. So when he does it, always anxiety. What's going to be the result? What's going to be the result? I'm doing it. Will be success or a failure, a loss or a gain? How it's going to turn out? What people are going to say? I'm doing it. Before doing itself, while doing, before doing, is only anxiety. A karma yogi is free from anxiety. Oh, he's relaxed. No anxiety means relaxed. So no anxiety about it. He can focus in his work, what he's doing. Can be attentive. He's attentive, he's focused. He's focused in his work, so he can do it perfectly, as perfectly as possible, as efficiently as possible, as well as possible. Why? Because he's focused, he's attentive. Why? He's not anxious about the result. The secret is, the person who lives a life of karma yoga is not attached to karma or the karma phalam. He wants the result, he expects the result, but he's not dependent on the result or the action for his happiness or security. Because he knows happiness is only in knowing the truth. So he wants to prepare his mind for knowing the truth. He knows this karma cannot produce, happiness cannot be produced. Happiness is something to be discovered. He already knows the fact. What I ultimately want is happiness. That happiness cannot be attained. It's already there. I have to discover it. I have to prepare my mind. I'm doing this karma, I have to prepare my mind. So let me do my karma as best as possible. As efficiently as possible. Understand? So anxiety free minded. And the second thing, because he's totally committed to the pursuit of knowledge, ultimately what he wants is happiness through the attainment of knowledge. Therefore, whatever he performs becomes offered to the Lord. I'm doing ultimately for knowledge means ultimately for freedom, ultimately for happiness means ultimately for the Lord. Understand? For us the truth is the Lord. There's no Lord other than the truth. Is okay?
Yes.
Therefore all actions become offered to the Lord. So I'm doing what I'm ordained to do. I'm doing anything in conformity with values. I'm doing for the sake of doing, not to disturb the order. So everything is offered to Bhagavan, offered to the Lord. So this attitude he entertains in doing his actions. This attitude of offering all one's actions to the Lord. Not physically offering, okay, in the mind. Because when you perform an action, knowing well, I'm doing all these actions to live my life, to earn my bread and butter, to maintain my physical health, to contribute for social wellness. I'm doing what I can do to the best of my ability, ultimately to prepare my mind for knowledge of the truth where happiness is. This attitude converts the actions into actions offered to the Lord. Is it clear? Therefore, there is attitude of offering all actions to Bhagavan on the part of a Karma Yogi. Then, next important thing is, okay, I do everything. Whatever I do is ultimately for preparing my mind, for knowing the truth, for discovering happiness, which is discovery of Bhagavan. But once I do, the results of actions may be to my expectation, maybe directly opposite to what I expected, maybe less than my expectation or more than my expectation, completely unexpected result. Result can be anything. And this person who lives life Karma Yoga knows very well any result is time bound. No result can give a permanent happiness. Action is time bound. All the accessories required for karma are time bound. Result of action is time bound. Therefore, result of action cannot bring happiness. And second thing, result of action can be desirable result or undesirable result. There can be pain, there can be pleasure, there can be honor, there can be dishonor, there can be success, can be failure, there can be profit or loss. Isn't it? There can be pain or there can be pleasure, victory or defeat. Results of actions will be what? Pairs of opposites. This can be anything. For a person who lives life of Karma Yoga, he performs his duties in conformity with values, with the proper attitude of offering everything to the Lord. But results of actions, he knows whatever is the result of action, desirable or undesirable. All the results are time-bound in nature. Pain will not be permanent, pleasure will not be permanent. Loss or gain, success or failure, pain or pleasure, all the results of actions are impermanent. They come and go. Nothing is permanent. So he accepts whatever comes in life. The sameness of mind. Because he knows the fact, every result which comes, every situation which comes as a result of an action is not actually directly a result of an action alone. The action which I performed now only is instrumental for the result of a past action to become manifest. Therefore, every result is determined by the Lord in the form of law and order. There is a law which determines the result of action. The success I go through, the failure I go through, loss I go through, victory I go through, defeat I go through, honor I go through, suffering I go through, pain I go through, pleasure I enjoy in life, everything is determined by the natural law. I do not see the natural law through physical eyes, but still we can understand the law being manifest. That is law. Understand? That is law. The innumerable laws which govern the results of actions. Now all the natural laws which determine the results of actions are Bhagavan, the Lord for us. Therefore, if the person who is a Karma Yogi, who is given to study of the scriptures, develops this attitude of being able to see the Lord in the form of the natural laws which determine the results of actions. Therefore, he can see every result, he can see, take it as a gift from the Lord. This capacity to be able to accept the result as result of action, as a gift from the Lord, because of his understanding of the Lord in the form of the natural law. helps him accept any result as gift. Gift from the Lord. We call it prasada buddhi, the attitude of being able to look at every situation as prasada, gift from the Lord. What it is, gift from the Lord, then we don't deny. Whatever gift is given, you accept it. The sameness of mind. And you know, any gift is impermanent. Success or failure, both are the same. Success is not going to be permanent. Failure is not going to be permanent. Everything comes and goes. Loss comes and goes. Gain comes and goes. Which pleasure will stay forever? Hey, I'll be with you forever. No pleasure will stay forever. No pain is going to be there forever. No suffering is going to be there forever. This person, Karma Yogi, understands this fact, not simply mechanically accepting somebody saying. You have to see the fact in it. Just to, I've packed a lot of things in a very short time. So, there's an amazing attitude on the part of a person who lives in Karma Yoga that he can remain the same in all situations. Without being disturbed by the results of actions, because of his attitude of being able to look at everything as gift from the Lord. Every situation is time bound. Every situation comes and goes, desirable or undesirable. Everything is gift from the Lord. It's a very unique attitude. Therefore, he can remain the same without elation and dejection. Usually, what do? Success comes, we'll be jumping. Failure comes, we feel very low, depressed, dejected. Very natural. We never remain balanced. Pain comes, pleasure comes. We never remain balanced. As a Karma Yogi is always trying to be balanced. It is possible because of his prasada buddhi. There's no elation, success comes, there's no elation. He knows it is not permanent. Let me keep a low profile. Failure comes, doesn't feel dejected. Because he knows it's going to go, Bhagavan Prasadam. Balanced. And remaining balanced without elation or without feeling low, without feeling superior or elated, without feeling dejected, remaining balanced is said to be samatvam. Remaining equanimous in all situations. Remaining the same, entertaining the same mental condition in all situations is called samatvam. That is possible only if we have prasada buddhi, the attitude of being able to see everything as God ordained. It's the attitude. It's a prasada buddhi. So these are the three important things. Commitment to your values, the attitude of offering everything to the Lord, and accepting every situation as the gift from the Lord, knowing its nature, it is impermanent. This is how a Karma Yogi lives his life. Understand? If this attitude is there, commitment to values, dharma is there, then a person lives his life in tune with universal natural law, moral law and order. The person who lives his life in harmony with the law and order is the person who does not disturb the order. The Karma Yogi lives a life without disturbing the order. Okay? That way what happens? In due course of time, it is his attitude. He always maintains his mental, okay? So he is able to manage all because of his attitude, because of his commitment to values. Even though he is not a wise person, He's still a ignorant person who has yet to become wise because of his commitment to values and the attitude of offering it to Bhagavan, his actions, and because of his attitude of looking at everything as Bhagavan's gift, and he's able to handle, manage his emotions. Commitment to values helps him manage his emotions. Even though his anger is managed, means it doesn't get expressed in a damaging action. So anger, hatred, fear, anxiety, all these emotions are managed. They are there, but they manage, handled well. He has a certain degree of mastery over them. He likes and dislikes everything. So what happens in the long run? Because when you are able to manage your emotions, you are a master, you have mastery over your emotions, then the mind becomes relatively disciplined mind. If the emotions are managed, handled well, carefully, thoughtfully, prudently, because by living life karma yoga, then you are relatively pure-minded. Then, as a relatively pure-minded, being given to the study of the scripture, when you attain the knowledge, you become absolutely pure-minded. You don't need to manage them because they will disappear. This is what is a karma yoga.